So we've all heard it. Click-clack sound of doom. The spaghetti stoppage on our frozen arcos. Our nozzles clogged. Don't fret. Don't lose your layers. We're going to go step by step and figure out how to unclog it. Let's get into it.
I want to start off by saying that this is a video on how to unclog the extruder on the Phrozen Arco. If you are looking on how to unclog your nozzle, that will be coming in a later video. The first thing you're going to want to do before powering off your printer is moving your printer head to a comfortable position for you to work on it. For me, that was closest to the door and at about chest level position. Next, you're going to want to set your filament temperature on your extruder. I set mine to 220, but Phrozen recommends setting theirs to 250 degrees Celsius. And no, Phrozen didn't give us a warp drive hot end. This is just the magic of editing. Next, you're going to hit the extrude button twice, and then the retract button once, so that it pulls any remaining filament out of the machine. And here I go as an extra step, restoring my nozzle hot end to room temperature. And no, the nozzle doesn't cool this fast. I wish you were that cool, Phrozen. And next, you're going to power off your machine before you proceed. And now we'll disassemble the extruder. First, you're going to remove the front cover. The front cover is magnetically attached and can be easily removed. You're just going to pull it from back to front. What you see me doing here is pushing the cutter lever. If it doesn't pop back out, then it's not assembled correctly. Next, you're going to disconnect the front cover cable. You're going to carefully unplug the cable from the front cover and set it aside. You can see it's plugged in right here, and it's not too hard to get out. Got to tug on it a little bit. Next, you're going to disconnect the heating module cables. You're going to unplug the black and red cables connecting the main unit to the heating block. You can find those right here. Just like before, you can give them a little bit of tug and they should come right off. If there's a little bit of wax on there, it's okay to peel that off. The next cable you want to take off is this ribbon cable over here on the side. So a couple things to note about that is one, there's a piece of tape that goes over it. It's okay to remove that. And second, when you go to replace that, you need to make sure it's seated properly. Otherwise, you won't get correct heating elements activated in your machine. You can see me here gingerly taking off the tape and very carefully removing the metal connector from the circuit board. And now we're going to remove the front panel. After removing the remaining screws, the front panel can be taken off. Those screw locations are here, here, and here. If you encounter resistance while removing the front cover, you may need to loosen the extruder gear spacing adjustment screw on the side after removing the remaining screws. In some cases, the filament may be caught at the end of the gear, preventing the cover from being removed smoothly. That location is right over here on the side, just behind and below the cutter lever. Be sure to note the original position of the screw before loosening so you can restore the gear spacing during reassembly. This ensures proper filament feeding in the future prints. As you can see, my extruder gear assembly came off pretty easily because I've had it apart a few times, but the first time you may have to tug on it a little bit and then it should pop off. And here I'm going to remove the Bowden tube clip so that I can take out the PTFE tube. To release the PTFE tube, you're going to push down on that little round tab and then pull the tube out, as you see on the screen. As you can see, the extruder gears now, they are clear and accessible. Also, here is where the filament is going to be jammed in at. Now, what I'm pointing out here is where your cutter assembly is going to have to slide in and out of. It's a slot that goes horizontally across the extruder assembly. And now what I'm demonstrating here is how I put the assembly back on. That's where the cutter lever is right there. That has to go horizontal in order for it to line up correctly. And where it'll go again is right here in this slot. And don't worry, once you get the feel for it, it's pretty easy to do. I don't have a current jam, but I did remember to go and grab some filament so I can demonstrate on how to remove it. So I grabbed my cobalt needle nose pliers and removed my pretend filament from the jam. So now that the jam has been cleared, we'll begin reassembling the extruder assembly. But first I gotta show off my cobalt pliers, because you know, I'm a brandy. So here's where things can get tricky the first time you do it. This piece right here needs to slot into this piece right here. We talked about it earlier, but it's crucial you get this to go in there so that you get proper extrusion. The best way to do it, as you see here, is just to tap your finger on it lightly as you push in with the extruder assembly. And before putting your screws in to bolt it down, you want to test your cutter lever assembly to see if it bounces out like this, so that way you know how it assembled correctly. And now that we got it assembled correctly, we're going to begin putting our bolts back into the slots that they came out of. Here, then tighten that bolt down just a little bit, just so it holds. And that way you can use your other hand to help put the other bolts back into the extruder assembly. This bolt will go into the slot. And this bolt will go into this slot. And finally, I begin tightening all the bolts down, alternating them one at a time until they're all nice and snug, hand tight. You don't want to over torque them because you'll strip your screws out. Next, we're going to come over here to the side and test our cutter lever one more time to make sure it springs out like it's supposed to, reassuring us that we've got it assembled correctly. And then we're going to put our connector piece back into where it's supposed to go. This ribbon is very delicate, so please be careful and make sure it seats correctly. Otherwise, you will not get correct temperature readings. Next, we're going to take this black and red wire with the green connector and put it back in its place in the green connector slot that you see on your screen. Now we're going to take this black and red wire with the blue connector and put it back in its spot with the blue connection. This is to the magnetic fan assembly. Shouldn't be too hard to assemble. It should clip right in there, and then your magnetic fan assembly should just clip right back on. And then finally, don't forget to reinsert your PTFE tube into the top of your extruder assembly, and then also put the Bowden clip back around it so that it holds it in place. And now we're going to power our machine back on and wait for it to boot up. Yay, magic editing. And now we're going to move our gantry and our printhead to the forward position and as low as possible so that you can see what I'm doing on the screen, and also that you can see the filament is extruding as expected. And now we're going to set our hot end to heat up to 250 degrees Celsius. Time for warp heat speed. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to put new filament in. Otherwise, it won't work. And here you can see we hit the extrude button twice, and it's slowly starting to string out. We hit it a few more times, and there we go. We're ready to go. Hype overload.
And just like that, our nozzle's unclogged. And like a well-fed cat, it's a purr machine. If you like our video today, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, because we're almost at 1,000 subscribers. We'll do a few more of these videos for the Phrozen Arco for some of the common troubleshooting issues. And until next time, be glorious.